Alex Murdaugh took the stand this week to give his account of what happened on June 7, 2021, the day his wife Maggie and son Paul were killed. And of course, his body language revealed much more than he wanted, as you're about to find out. Welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and it would be great if you join us by just liking this video, subscribing, and hitting that bell. Let's get down to it. In the more than 20 months since they were found dead at their family's sprawling South Carolina hunting state, the public has been enthralled with Alex Murdaugh and the murder charges brought against him, a husband, father, and member of a multi-generational legal dynasty who has come crashing down in a very public fashion. His defense attorneys have argued during the murder trial that no physical evidence connects Murdaugh to the scene of the crime, and prosecutors have staked the case on what they say are his years of financial shadiness, opioid addiction, lies to authorities, and struggles to recall key events. If Murdaugh is convicted, he could face up to life in prison. This case has many body language riddles like the one I'm gonna present to you right now. You're now watching Murdaugh giving his answer to a yes or no question. In this case, you can only see his general body language, but what do you think his answer is? Yes or no? You're about to find out not only what was the question, but also his answer. But before we get started, I want to talk about today's video sponsor, Private Internet Access, which is my VPN of choice. Because browsing the internet without a VPN is like having a huge billboard over your head that displays all your internet activity, including your lousy memes, your browsing history, and even your messages. Private Internet Access makes sure that nobody can spy on your internet activity, including your internet service provider, so you and your loved ones can access the web privately and safely. It also happens to me all the time that I want to access region-locked content on streaming services. For example, Netflix has different content libraries depending on your physical location, or the BBC's online streaming that can only be accessed from within the UK. It's only thanks to Private Internet Access that I can unlock all the content I need from anywhere in the world. Not to mention that you might get better deals in online shopping when you use your VPN to change your current location. What I love the most is that Private Internet Access is extremely easy to use. It only requires one click of a button and your privacy is guaranteed. Now here's the kicker. If you use my special link in the description of this video, you get an 83% discount. That's just a little more than $2 a month, and you also get 4 months of private internet access for free. And since Private Internet Access comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee and 24/7 customer support, it's all risk-free for you. So use my link and get Private Internet Access today. The first clip that we are gonna watch is the question from his own attorney at, did you take this gun or any gun like it and shoot your son Paul in the chest in the fit room at your property? And you're gonna spot the first body language clues.
On June 7th, 2021, did you take this gun or any gun like it and shoot your son Paul in the chest in the feed room at your property off Moselle Road?
No, I did not.
Mr. Murdaugh.
As in every body language analysis, we have to take into account certain clues, and we cannot reach conclusions with one or two signals. We have to stack them until we can have a better idea of what is going on here. We have a nodding when he is saying no. He says, no, I did not. He's doing right like that, but he is nodding. And you might have recognized that this is the movement of the body language riddle that I posted at the start of this video. This is the question he was asked. Did you shoot your son? And his answer was, no, I did not. But the problem is that he is nodding at the same time. That's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons he looks quite suspicious. It's not conclusive yet, of course, because there are many things that we have to take into account, especially his body language baseline, which so far, since this is the first question that he is asked in his testimony, we don't have any body language baseline whatsoever. It's also easy to spot that when he answers, he is pressing his jaw with tension. Either way, if he was innocent or he was guilty, it's gonna be a very tense moment. He's just been seated mere minutes. I think he didn't have even a minute sitting there, so you can imagine that he was quite tense. And that must be the reason why he has also those signals of wetting his lips, those clicks, those movements with his mouth, which some people argue that is only due to his opioid addiction. Either way, we have also tension before the question, the tension in the jaw as the question is asked, is that he is not comfortable at all. It's just getting started, and this is important. We have to, in every interrogation, in every interview, in every conversation, we have to let time run a bit, ask a couple of questions, have a couple minutes of conversation until we can catch more relevant body language clues. The second clip that we're gonna watch and analyze is his attorney asking the question again in a different way.
Did you take this gun or any gun like it and blow your son's brains out on June 7th or any day or any time?
No, I did not.
Mr. Murdaugh?
In the second question, we see the same patterns of behavior. He is tense. He keeps on nodding his head. That is important to spot. He has tension in his jaw, because you can see his jaw muscles jumping right there. He have the same patterns of playing with his lips. His mouth clicks. More tension in his jaw, and again he is nodding. He is saying yes with his head when he is saying no with his words. And this is why it's important to be sure that his body language is always consistent or has serious contradictions. And there's one clip that we can watch to ascertain that. One of the inconsistencies about that night is that the clothes that he was wearing and he was with Maggie and his son Paul in their last moments were nowhere to be found. Were never found, in fact. So what happened to those clothes? And one of the questions regarding those clothes was if it was unusual for him to take a shower after physical activity. Let's take a look at his answer.
So was it unusual for you to take a shower when you got back to the house?
Not at all.
It's impossible to miss that when he says no, not at all, emphatically, he denies with his head. Okay, he is looking away a bit, but still he's denying with his head. So he wants to be emphatic in his no, and he's using his head to emphasize that negative. That's what makes so unsettling and strange, that he's saying no, that he did not shoot his son in any way or ever, and he nods at the same time. Because we have already at least one proof that when he wants to be emphatic about a no, he shakes his head. He denies with his head. Now let's see what happens when he is asked about shooting his wife.
Did you take a 300 blackout, such as this, and fire it into your wife Maggie's leg, torso, or any part of her body?
No, I did not.
Did you?
So we see the same pattern when he was answering the questions about his son Paul. He is playing with his lips. There is tension in his jaw. But when answering about Maggie, his wife, he also looks away. That is the second signal. He's also pressing his jaw at the same time. He says, no, I did not, and at the same time nods, which we already know it's a strong contradiction, and he could be denying with his head to emphasize that no. Now, the same way as he did with his son Paul, the attorney asks the question again. So let's see what is his answer this time.
Shoot a 300 blackout into her head, causing her death.
Mr. Griffin, I didn't shoot my wife or my son anytime. Ever.
What I found interesting about this second, or in the case of asking if he actually shot his family, it will be the fourth question in total, is that his nodding was much less. He was nodding almost, just a bit compared to the other answers. He says, I didn't shoot my wife or my son anytime ever. Some have pointed out that that ever was unnecessary, but it was included in the question of the attorney. The attorney included that in the question. Have you ever shot your wife or son? And that's why he is answering like this. Now, I want to point out a difference between the two instances of this first question. At first, when he's talking about his son Paul, his facial expression, as you can see in this very frame, is, I would say, a bit worried, is a bit concerned about what is going on at that moment, or maybe concerned about, well, the fact that his son and his wife were shot to death. We still don't know, but it's interesting that at the end, when he's talking about Maggie and Paul at the same time, his facial expression displays a bit of anger. I didn't shoot my wife or my son anytime ever. I can say that this is an emotion that can appear at times, because let's say that he's innocent of shooting them, then you can imagine that anybody in that situation would have a lot of anger at the same time. I not only lost part of my family, two loved ones, very close, my wife and my son, and at the same time I'm being accused of that. If he was innocent, it would make sense that he showed rage in this situation. There's also the fact that when he was interviewed by police officers and SLED agents, he lied about his whereabouts when the murders happened. And you can imagine that is a big deal for the prosecution team. Let's see his body language when he is acknowledging this fact.
You lied to SLED Agent Owen and Deputy Laura Rutland on the night of June 7th.
I did lie to them.
Did you lie to Agent Owen and Agent Croft on the follow-up interview on June 10th that the last time you saw Maggie and Paul was at dinner?
I did lie to them.
I'm sure you notice a couple of things. That first one, that he is, well, affirming, say yes, I did lie to them. And he is nodding pretty much like when he said, no, I did not shoot them. So his body language is quite contradicting in this regard. Is equal, that subtle nodding is equal when he's trying to be emphatic in the sense of, no, I did not shoot my wife or my son. And at the same time, yes, I did lie to these officers. Which of course is only the second question, the lying to the officers, which can be proven. And that's why this is being asked even by his own attorneys to, well, address a bit of his credibility problem. The fact is that only by lying about something in the interview right after this happened is something that is so critical, as in, where were you when this happened? It's suspicious in every way imaginable. But let's make sure that we are making the right judgment by seeing the repeated question that the attorney makes sure to get an answer, an honest answer, so people can, well, be sure that he did actually lie to the police, and he is acknowledging that.
In the interview of August 11th, did you tell Agent Owen and Agent Croft, did you lie to them by telling them that you were not down at the kennels on that night?
Yes.
It's incredible that when he is, well, he's acknowledging that he lied to these officers, his body language is much more serene. It's like, well, lying, we know from his record. All the fraud that he's involved into, it's not a stretch that lying for him is, well, no big deal. And maybe lying to these officers was not much of that big deal either. What was incredibly draining from this testimony is that his attorneys were making sure to, well, try to be empathetic and try to fix his credibility issues and try to connect in any way as a family man, as a man that couldn't harm his family, as someone who was trying to overcome his addictions, so to win some empathy over the jury. That's why the more pressing questions were asked at the beginning, and then all the circumstantial evidence was trying to be dismounted in the following around 1 hour and a half that this first part lasted. And that is the reason why the cross-examination lasted around 3 hours, because prosecutor Creighton Waters was focused on specifically on character assassination. He was trying to prove that Murdaugh's credibility, that Murdaugh's financial issues, that Murdaugh's history of financial crimes had something to do with the fact that he was desperate. He was desperate in so many ways that it led to this horrendous crime. And for example, they know what kind of weapon was used in the murders, and they know that Murdaugh used to own one of those, but that weapon is like the clothes of that night, nowhere to be found. Now, my main point of view is what are the motives? Any behavior is triggered by something. Okay, it's something that you think about that. What is the motive behind this behavior? If he did shoot that gun, then was the motive. And so far, watching his testimony and watching his demeanor and watching his behavior, it's an absolutely personal opinion that I don't think this guy actually pulled the trigger. He looks more like someone that is responsible or feels responsible about what happens, but he did not directly kill his wife and son. That is my hunch after watching all his testimony. I haven't watched all the... Of course, you could have a completely different opinion, and I would love if you share it in the comments. My body language buddies, remember to download my 100 body language tips right in the description of this video. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy. And remember, much love and bliss.